San Francisco has over 75,000 housing units in active development right now. That's more than the entire city of Berkeley, more than Oakland's downtown, enough to house 165,000 new residents, essentially adding the population of Sunnyvale in the city. I'm Wilson Leung from Own Real Estate, and what I discovered in San Francisco's development pipeline will change how you see the city. While everyone debates 4-story buildings in emission, the city is quietly approving entire neighborhoods in places most residents have never visited. We're talking about 8,000 homes rising on an artificial island connected by the ferry and downtown. A 152-acre complex from the 1940s becoming a complete new community. Suburban mall parking lots transforming into 18-story mixed-use neighborhoods. And 10,000 units on former military land that's been off limits for generations. This is the story of San Francisco's biggest housing boom in 50 years, and it's happening right here in the city's forgotten corners. San Francisco Planning Department's Q2 2025 pipeline shows 71,000 units in active development, plus major projects pushing the total past 75,000. Let me break down what this actually means. 3,700 units are under construction right now with cranes visible from the freeway. Another 14,000 have building permits issued and sites are being prepared. 2,600 more have permits approved and are breaking ground soon. That's over 7,800 units in active construction or about to start. Real shovels in the ground. Then there's 34,000 units in major multi-phase projects, the mega developments that will take 10 to 20 years to complete. These are entire neighborhoods rising from former military bases, industrial sites, and underutilized land. Here's what shocked me the most. 17,675 of these units, that's 25%, are designed for affordable housing. San Francisco is producing more below market rate housing than it has in decades. We're talking homes for teachers making $89,000, medical assistants at $37,000, service workers making $46,000. To put this in perspective, San Francisco currently has 415,000 housing units total. This pipeline represents nearly a 20% increase in the entire city's housing stock over the next decade. The state requires San Francisco to build 82,000 units by 2031 to address the regional housing shortage. At current approval rates, the city is making real progress towards its goal, though construction timelines remain challenging. What makes this transformation unique is where it's happening. The top 6 mega projects alone account for 40,000 units, and they're not in the neighborhoods that dominate planning debates. They're on islands, former shipyards, aging public housing complexes, and retail parking lots, places that could absorb density without displacing existing communities. The largest housing development in San Francisco's history is rising on 693 acres where the Navy built and repaired ships for over 50 years. This former military base at the city's southeastern edge is becoming a completely new neighborhood with parks, schools, retail, and waterfront access. The history matters here. Hunters Point Naval Shipyard operated from 1941 to 1974, employing thousands in ship repair and maintenance. When the Navy left, they left behind extensive contamination requiring decades of environmental cleanup. The EPA designated it as a Superfund site, and remediation has been ongoing since the 1990s. The cleanup story includes serious challenges. Environmental contractor Tetra Tech was found to have falsified cleanup reports between 2006 and 2012, leading to criminal convictions and a $97 million settlement in January 2025. This prompted additional testing and remediation to ensure the land meets safety standards before construction proceeds. Here's what's important. Regulatory oversight has intensified. Navy, EPA, California Department of Toxic Substances Control, and San Francisco's Department of Public Health are monitoring the site. Current development areas have received clearance for residential use after extensive retesting. The project includes 32% affordable housing, over 3,400 below market rate units. The first phase is already complete with 450 homes occupied, parks open to the public, and infrastructure operational. Candlestick Point, the less contaminated portion where the 49ers Stadium stood, is progressing with waterfront parks and residential construction. Yes, there are ongoing community concerns about health and displacement. The predominantly African American community that lived with the shipyard's impacts for generations deserves to benefit from the transformation. The developer has committed to local hiring, community benefits, and ongoing environmental monitoring. One of the most ambitious projects is happening on Treasure Island, a 465-acre artificial island in the middle of the San Francisco Bay. Built in 1936 for the Golden Gate International Exposition, then used by the Navy for 50 years, it's now becoming a complete neighborhood with ferry connections to downtown. The engineering challenges here are significant. The island was constructed by dumping rock and sand into the bay, and like all artificial land, it's settling over time. Additionally, sea level rise projections require major infrastructure investments. Here's what's impressive. The developers are addressing these challenges head on. Buildings are being structured on deep foundations that reach bedrock. The entire development is designed with elevated streets and resilient infrastructure for projected sea level rise through 2100. Seawalls are being reinforced and raised. The first residents moved in several years ago, and the community is growing. Ferry service launched in 2022, connecting downtown San Francisco in 20 minutes. Actually faster than Muni commutes from the Sunset. 2 ferry terminals provide redundancy and capacity. Current development includes market rate and affordable housing, with 25% of units designated affordable. Parks are opening with spectacular panoramic 360-degree bay views. Retail and community services are coming online as population reaches thresholds to support them. The geotechnical reality is that all San Francisco development faces seismic and environmental challenges. If you remember, the Marina District was built on fill and liquefied in 1989. Soma is built on mud. Treasure Island's challenges are being addressed with modern engineering that didn't exist when the older neighborhoods were built. The transformation plan, approved in 2011, would demolish aging garden apartments while preserving 11 historic tower buildings. Then construct new housing, bringing a total to 8,900 units. This represents a completely new neighborhood rebuild using modern construction, improved open space, and better transit connections. The project has faced financial challenges. The original developer, Maximus Real Estate Partners, defaulted in 2024, and the property entered receivership. This is actually a common story in a large-scale development. Projects approved during one economic cycle often pause when conditions change. What's important is that the land, approvals, and plan exist. When market conditions improved and financing becomes available, construction can proceed. The site is already a dense residential neighborhood with infrastructure. It's designed to absorb additional density without displacing surrounding communities. Current residents have protections in the approved plans, including right to remain at current rent levels. The development includes significant affordable housing requirements that must meet for the project to proceed. Perhaps the most relatable transformation is happening at Stonestown Mall, where 30 acres of parking lots are becoming 3,500 housing units while the mall stays operational. This represents the largest Sunset District development in over 50 years. The genius of this project is phasing. Your Target, Trader Joe's, and Whole Foods remain open throughout construction. But those half-empty parking lots, some registering only 30% capacity on weekdays, are being rebuilt with apartments up to 18 stories with retail below and structured parking replacing surface lots. The Planning Commission approved this unanimously in 2024 after extensive community input. The Sunset District, typically resistant to change, supported this because it's not displacing homes or businesses. It's converting underutilized asphalt into a completely new neighborhood with parks, wide sidewalks, and public plazas. Construction begins in 2026 with a 20-year build-out timeline. That might sound long, but it's appropriate for a project adding 7,000 residents to a neighborhood while keeping existing retail operational. Brookfield Properties, the developer, operates the Salesforce Tower downtown. Their experience with complex phase construction. The project creates what planners call town center, mixed-use buildings with retail below and housing above, walkable streets, public gathering spaces. It's urbanism that San Francisco used to build naturally before car-centric zoning made it illegal. The transformation getting the least attention is Hope San Francisco, the complete reconstruction of San Francisco's aging public housing projects. Alex Griffith in Hunters Point, Potrero Terrace and Annex at Potrero Hill, and Sunnydale and Visitation Valley are being developed and rebuilt with 2,720 total units. This isn't renovation, it's a complete reconstruction of housing that dates in 1941 and 1962. The original buildings were built as temporary World War II housing and never upgraded. They've become concentrated poverty with inadequate maintenance and failing infrastructure. The approach is controversial, but well-intentioned. Instead of rebuilding 100% public housing, the new developments are mixed income, market rate renters living alongside families receiving housing assistance. The theory is that mixed income communities provide better opportunities, services, and networks than concentrated poverty. Critically, every current resident gets the right to return. While construction happens, they're relocating temporarily, then offered first priority for new units at current rent levels. People aren't getting displaced. It's the replacement of failed housing with modern homes. Construction is already underway with phased delivery. The first new portural buildings opened in 2019. Alice Griffith's initial phase opened in 2020. The full transformation will take until 2035, but families are already moving into upgraded homes with working heat, modern kitchens, and safe common areas. Balboa Reservoir transforms a 17-acre for College of San Francisco into 1,150 housing units with parks and community spaces. Half of the units will be affordable housing, an extraordinary 50% affordability rate. The site has been for parking since the 1940s, 80 years of asphalt storing cars when the city desperately needs housing. The development includes a childcare center, community facilities, and improved transit connections. Construction is moving forward after years of planning and community engagement. This represents infill development at its best, underutilized institutional land becoming housing without displacing existing residents. While the mega projects get attention, San Francisco has dozens of smaller but significant developments that collectively add thousands of units. Mission Rock is rising from parking lots next to Oracle Park, 1,409 units with offices, retail, and parks on 28 acres. The first phase is complete with towers visible from the ballpark. This waterfront activation creates a neighborhood density near transit. Pier 70 converts a historic 35-acre shipbuilding site into 1,634 units while preserving massive 19th century industrial buildings. This adaptive reuse respects San Francisco's maritime heritage while creating new housing. The Potrero Power Station transforms 29 acres where a power plant operated for over 150 years into 2,228 units. The iconic smokestacks remains a monument while contaminated land gets cleaned up and rebuilt. India Basin, Schlage, and other major projects throughout the southeastern waterfront add thousands more units. Each one transforms former industrial land that was inaccessible to residents into complete neighborhoods with parks, services, and water access. These aren't scattered four-story buildings causing neighborhood fights. They're large-scale transformations of previously inaccessible land that can absorb density without displacing existing communities. This isn't just planning and renderings. Construction is happening right now throughout San Francisco. Let me show you what's actually being built. Shirley Chisholm Village in the Outer Sunset opened recently with 135 affordable units specifically for San Francisco's Unified School District and City College employees. Teachers making $75,000 get priority. The lottery received 3,000 applications for 135 units. The demand is overwhelming. Eve Community Village opened in July 2024 in Potrero Hill with 157 affordable units. Families who've been waiting years for affordable housing finally have permanent houses in a modern building with community spaces and services. 730 Stanyon in the Haight just opened with 160 units, including supportive housing for formerly homeless individuals. Even the Haight, famous for resisting change, now has modern housing addressing homelessness with dignity. Currently, 1,874 affordable units are under active construction across the city. Transbay Block 2 has concrete reaching the 4th floor. 1633 Valencia has wood framing rising. These are real buildings with real workers building real homes for our communities right now. Mayor Leary has attended multiple groundbreaking ceremonies in recent months, each one representing new housing coming online. 750 Golden Gate Avenue will provide 108 units for transition-age youth. young adults aging out of foster care who need stable, affordable units, plus childcare and services specifically for Indigenous families. The construction workforce is booming. Union apprenticeship programs have waitlists. After years of planning, San Francisco is actually building at scale not seen since the 1960s. Drive down Mission Street, Venice, Market Street, count the cranes. This is the most simultaneous construction in decades, and it's focused on affordable and workforce housing, not just luxury condos. San Francisco construction costs are the highest in the nation at $440 per square foot, nearly 50% higher than New York. This creates real financial challenges for developers. The result is that some approved projects pause waiting for better market conditions. Park Merced was approved in 2011, but hasn't started construction due to financial challenges. Several downtown projects broke ground but paused when costs exceeded projections. This is normal in real estate development. Projects approved during one economic cycle often wait for more favorable conditions. The important part is that approvals exist, environmental review is complete, and construction can proceed when economics improve. The city is addressing this through affordable housing bonds, streamlined approvals, and state funding programs that make projects more financially feasible. Measure U and other local funding sources are specifically helping affordable projects pencil out even if the market rate developments stall. Adding 75,000 units requires major infrastructure investment. The city recognizes this and is planning accordingly. SFMTA is expanding transit service to Hunters Point, Treasure Island, and other development areas. Ferry service to Treasure Island demonstrates alternative transit options. The Central Subway extension connects new housing in Soma and Mission Bay. Sewer and water infrastructure upgrades are being funded through development impact fees. The projects themselves pay for the infrastructure they require. Power grid improvements are happening as PG&E responds to increased demand. The school capacity challenge is being addressed through the Housing Initiative. New housing includes community facilities and schools. While the San Francisco Unified School District faces enrollment declines in some neighborhoods, new developments will bring families with children to areas with school capacity. Are these challenges significant? Absolutely, but they're being addressed through coordinated planning rather than being ignored. The city is growing strategically in areas that can accommodate density with appropriate infrastructure investment. The 17,675 affordable units in the pipeline represent the most significant below-market rate housing production in San Francisco's modern history. These aren't just numbers, they're homes for teachers, nurses, firefighters, service workers who make the city function. The income targeting is comprehensive. Very low income units serve families making under $46,000. Low income serves up to $74,000. Moderate rate income reaches $89,000. Teachers, medical assistants, city workers who've been priced out finally can afford to live here. The production is happening through multiple mechanisms. Inclusionary housing requirements mean market rate projects must include affordable units. Public land is being prioritized for affordable development. Measure funding and state programs are making projects financially viable. The combination of approaches means San Francisco is addressing affordability at an unprecedented scale while also adding market rate housing that increases overall supply. What makes this housing boom different from past eras is where it's happening. These mega projects are on former military bases, industrial sites, and underutilized land that was previously inaccessible to residents. Treasure Island was military only for decades. Park Merced has existed in isolation since the 1940s. These are places that could absorb major density increases without displacing existing neighborhoods. The waterfront access being created is extraordinary. Miles of bay shoreline that was industrial or military is becoming public parkland with housing nearby. This represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reconnect San Francisco's residents to the water. The southeastern neighborhoods that have dealt with industrial uses and this investment for generations are finally getting major investment in housing, parks, transit, and services. This is equitable development while done with community input and benefits. San Francisco's 75,000 unit pipeline is real. It's approved, and much of it is already under construction or breaking ground soon. This represents the largest coordinated housing transformation since the post-World War II building boom. Will every unit get built exactly on schedule? Probably not. Some projects will pause during market downturns. Some will face delays. Some will be redesigned. That's normal in development spanning decades. But the approvals exist. The environmental review is complete. The infrastructure planning is underway. Some are already occupied. Others are rising from the ground. More break ground each month. The scale is genuinely transformative for a city like San Francisco. Adding 165,000 residents to a city of 815,000 is a 20% population increase. That changes everything: culture, politics, economics, and neighborhoods. It's not without challenges, but it addresses the fundamental problem that San Francisco hasn't built enough housing for generations. This is San Francisco building its future by transforming past military bases become neighborhoods, shipyards become parks, parking lots become town centers, industrial contaminations get cleaned up, and remediated land becomes housing. The city that couldn't build is building in forgotten corners, on artificial islands, and to places that have been off limits for generations. It's not perfect, it's not fast enough, and challenges remain, but it's real, it's happening, and it's transforming San Francisco into a city that might finally have enough housing for people who want to live here. I'm Leung from Own Real Estate. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button. If you have feedback, comment below. We release weekly videos about living here in the Bay Area and San Francisco. If you have questions about buying and selling real estate or different neighborhoods that you're looking at, reach out to hello@theownteam.com. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you on the next one.